sessions. Happy Monday. This is Izabela Hamilton, CEO of Rangbell, and I have with me a very special guest today, Miss Karina Molostova. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for asking and for having me on here.
Of course. Did I say your name right?
You did perfectly.
Do people have trouble pronouncing your name?
Sometimes they think the V is a B, so they say Molostova.
I see.
Yeah.
We forgive them anyway, right? We
Mhm.
accept them anyway. It's so amazing having you. I met you what, like 3 years ago, maybe?
I think so. Time flies, huh? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember Jamie Davidson actually introducing me to you, and he's like, "You just have to meet this girl. She reminds me so much of you, and she's such a go-getter, and this and this." He had the most amazing things to say about you, and then I meet you, and I'm like, "Oh my God, he's so right."
I
And
feel the same way about you as well.
you're so sweet. No, it's just nice to see, like, from the time I met you, like how many times you basically reinvented yourself, and you started in ecom, and I'm pretty sure it's still in ecom, but I'll let you tell our listeners exactly what you're doing. It's just so beautiful to see another powerful woman who's not afraid to go after what she wants, and she also gets to enjoy her life and have fun. So I think that's very admirable, and I'm like one of your biggest fan. I don't know if you ever look on Instagram. I'm probably the first to come up to watch your videos.
I watch you too. Yeah. I mean, I think life is all about fun. To be honest, we shouldn't limit ourselves. And just because we are in business and grinding it out and working all the time, that doesn't mean we have to stop the fun. And we always do need to be following our passions, reinventing ourselves, as you said, and not just being kind of stuck in one approach. And when I first started, I mean, I noticed that my life is just completely going on to the next level and the new ideas that I'm getting based off the fields I'm in. Like I started in pre-med, having no business experience at all, and then slowly got introduced to the world of business, or shall I say I introduced myself because I was looking for a better approach. And it starts with something such as Amazon, right? A products-based business where it's an amazing entrepreneurship business and entry for pretty much anybody. Like I said, I had absolutely no idea about business when I entered it. So it turned out pretty well. But then that's not where it has to stop. It could go on to so many different things because, again, you don't have to limit yourself to even one business or one idea. So slowly I've progressed to moving on to other things such as coaching people in Amazon, and then even over COVID times, finding ways to actually use my income to start investing it into other things so that could grow other streams of income, other wealth platforms, right? And just moving on to just different things. And ultimately, I would say being more in line to my passion of inspiring women and helping them reach financial success.
That is so beautiful. And I've witnessed this over the years. I mean, I wish I would have known you longer, because I wish I would have seen like your transition from like the medical field into the business. But was that hard for you to do, going from that very traditional kind of living where you work for somebody, and then taking basically life on into your hands and say, okay, from now on, this is what I'm doing. How was that transition for you?
It actually wasn't very hard at all for me. I don't attach myself to things. I attach myself to the type of life I want to live. And I set early on, like we're both immigrants. We know how it goes, So you come from I mean, I think being an immigrant, like you resonate with this. A lot of ladies who follow me resonate with this as well. They share their stories. It's a completely different mentality, and you come from just pretty much nothing, from struggle, from not even knowing that there's other opportunities, to knowing that you want the best for yourself and your family. So you're willing to kind of put yourself in the position of what steps do I need to do to get myself there, and what would I enjoy in life. So the reason I chose medicine is because I felt it was very fulfilling in terms of it can help a lot of people, and it was something where you can continue to learn. Like medicine is always changing. If you're not on top of it, you're out of business, right? So I wanted something that would challenge me and something that would bring a benefit to others. But then that was at the expense of financial freedom, financial independence, not having a family life. Like I work with top surgeons who, like the mom and the dad were both surgeons, and they had to take shifts tucking in their 7-year-old son. They couldn't see him, right? And when I got to experience their lives, because I work really close with these surgeons, I started realizing that maybe I'm not willing to make that sacrifice of my own personal life. And I didn't really see a way how I could help my family as well from a financial standpoint too. I wanted something a little bit more intense. So when I did grow my business and started making income that was substantially more than the job I had, and even like looking into the future and breaking down the numbers of how much a business can make versus like a doctor's salary, even, it just didn't really make sense for me. So when I reached that milestone of like, okay, now maybe I can spend that time in business as opposed to working, it made a lot more sense for me to actually just fully cut the ribbon, and move on to the new venture of being full-time entrepreneur.
There's so much there's so much to unpack, but I love so much what you said, because I feel like it should be even said again, because a lot of people, I think, get stuck in a job that they think, they have to work there to provide for their families and to provide for their future, even at the expense of never seeing their kid. And I think that is the hardest part of leaving something that is so stable, that will bring you an income. And for these surgeons, I am sure they would probably take a different route if they could. I mean, it doesn't matter how satisfied you are in your job, not being able to see your kid, that must take a huge toll on you. And then a lot of people start blaming themselves because they wasted, quote unquote, all these years trying to provide for their kid. And it's like, you do that thinking, okay, at least one day my kid will have everything I didn't have. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. And it's so beautiful to see that there's people like you out there who are willing to coach other people through something, because even though it doesn't seem like it's that big, it's huge. It's really everything, making that decision.
It's your whole entire life, and it goes down to what you truly want. Like I've been around the medical industry for 7 years, and I think I've got a good experience of the people who are so passionate about the job itself that they are maybe not motivated by other things such as you and I. But there are unfortunately a lot of med students and residents that say and even surgeons that have told me personally that they would not wish this and they would take a different approach, right? So like I have so much respect for those in the field, but you really need to have a special heart to pursue that career, in my opinion.
And do you ever, when you talk to them, and I don't know if you have these kind of conversations, do you probably with like surgeons, but do you feel like they stay in those specific jobs because they feel like they already committed such a big part of their life to this specific project that they don't feel like there's any other way out?
The surgeons that I've worked for they were top tier, and one of them even invented this MRI/ultrasound machine to test for prostate cancer, and he had access to Stanford and studies, so like genetic studies. So I would say when you reach that high level, you're pretty set that this is your life path, and they are good at it. They're amazing. Like they cure people, they save people's lives. I would say the distinction comes with those who are a little bit more entry level, such as med students or even residents. Those are the ones who told me that we wish we could take a different path. But yes, exactly what you said. They said too much money invested already, too much time invested. So I'm just pretty much stuck here. I've had like at least like 4, 5, 6 people tell me this exact scenario.
Wow. So you see them go through like school and then get to this position, and then most of them just say, I don't have time for anything else, right? Do you think is the fear that keeps people stuck into a position or a job, or what do you think is really the bottom feeling of this? Like, why do people stay?
I think maybe this question is good for all jobs, right? Whether it's in the medical field or even climbing the corporate ladder. But yeah, it is essentially fear, and not just like the mental barrier is definitely there of what do I do? How do I get out of this? But more so is not having a cushion. I feel like if there was more of a financial cushion that they have set up for themselves, it may be easier to take a different approach. If they had, let's say, 6 months worth of savings, and maybe I actually talk about this in my program for like my $1 Million Lady program, where I help women build their wealth, is having an all-in fund. And on top of your savings is having 6 months of dedicated money saved for what if you do want a new opportunity? What if you, I mean, depending on the level. So if you're a businesswoman and you're buying new businesses, like what if you want to buy a business, right? What if you want to move to Asia and start a new career there? You have that money where you don't have to fear that, okay, if I quit, I'm literally stuck at zero, right? So I think it's two things. It's that mental barrier of actually being brave enough to change your life from a mental standpoint, and also not fearing the financial and like the physical reality of it, of not being able to pay your bills.
I know. Yeah, having that security probably puts women a little bit more ahead of others in the terms of how they think. Like, okay, at least I have this money saved up. I can give myself enough time. And I see it a lot actually. Even people that have some money saved up, they still have that huge fear of what am I going to do next? Even if they have that cushion of like 6 months to a year, most people are afraid to reinvent themselves. Do you feel like this is an issue in your program as well?
I think it's an issue for sure for everybody. And it's definitely 100% mindset, because there's so many opportunities. I mean, you can literally monetize anything these days, and from a good point, right? Like your passion, anything, whether it's consulting or freelancing or even dance, which I love so much, there's just always a way to make money with it. But you just have to get into the mentality of being able to understand how to do that. And not putting yourself in a position where you are hopeless or thinking you don't deserve it, or not thinking it's available to you, because it is. And unfortunately, I've had many girls message me with like, it's heartbreaking, right? They're doing things they don't want to do because this is the only way for them to pay their bills. And they want that new opportunity. They want a new approach, but sometimes they don't see it. Like, what can actually make me money that I actually enjoy, that pays the bills as well as what I'm doing now, which I don't want to be doing, And I think, like, on a woman to woman level too, it's unfortunate that society made it easier for women to do certain things that they might not want to do in order to make an income, right? And being like severely underrepresented in like economically, not getting the funding that men do, not as many CEOs, the wage gap is just, I think, a little bit unfair. And for them to make this, to feel like they have access to the same opportunities, might not be the same mentality as men. So they have to do certain things that they don't want to be doing.
So do you do a lot of mindset coaching within your program? Like, tell me a little bit about it, because we actually didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I saw you promoting it a lot, and there's always so much need for helping other women, and that's one thing that I want to do, and I try to do every single day. I just haven't taken the time to really move towards that. But what made you take this decision to do this for so many women, and then is mindset a big part of what you're coaching?
Well, Izabela, just by you being you and taking all the, the business actions, you are already an amazing example for women. I don't think that also women have to be actively like doing something, right, to like physically help. I think just being a good example and leading speaks for itself. So congratulations on, everything that you've done.
You are so sweet. You're melting my heart on a Monday. Let's go.
Monday. Yeah. So mindset is very important, and I do talk about that in the program. So when it comes to mindset, is knowing your worth, knowing you deserve the life that you want, not being ashamed to give yourself the best things, feeling that you do deserve abundance and money and opportunity, standing up for yourself, negotiating for yourself. Women never negotiate well, they do, but not as much as men, right? We're more agreeable. We're more willing to accept things when they're presented to us. We're more, okay, like in the workplace, something happens, I'm just going to brush it off. They're just being nice, right? I mean, Men don't get the same treatment as women. Women don't stand up for themselves as much because of the fact that we're naturally more agreeable by nature, which is, I don't think, a bad thing. I just think can get taken advantage of. So I think we need to know how to set those boundaries in whether it's a corporate setting, because in my program, there's women of all, desires. Some want to climb the corporate ladder, some want to be entrepreneurs, and that's their choice, right? But no matter what approach you take, you need to have value for yourself as a woman and to stand up for yourself, to negotiate for yourself, to uphold yourself to the highest standard, no matter what you're doing in life. So yes, mindset is a huge component, but on top of that, the program is really centered around building your wealth, and that is a huge advantage in life, I believe. So really, the simplest way I could describe it, a Cliff's Notes version, is just increasing the income that somebody has, also building other streams of income, whatever it may be. A lot of women do want to be entrepreneurs, so I talk about types of businesses they can start and how to advance their passion to monetize it, right? And then the icing on the cake is to how to invest a portion of that income into ways that will make you passive money, right? How to make your money work for you, how to think like the top 2%, because we are all entitled to that. And it's not some legal rule that says millionaires and billionaires do this and no one else can. This is the tax advantages that millionaires and billionaires have and no one else can, and investment opportunities. That's simply not true. It's just that the 2% are aware of these advantages while no one else is aware of this. And my goal is to say, hey, no, it's not just the 2% that do this. You can do this legally too. So get on it, right? And start small, but build your portfolio up to that as well, and build your income and get more streams of income, because why not? Anyone can do it.
Mm. Do you feel like there's an order to this? Like first they have to find something that they love, then they have to like save some money, then this, and like is there a rule to it, or somebody can just come in and say, I'm really just interested in learning how to invest. Like, do you coach them through different steps till they get to that point, or how does that work?
It's very individualized, actually. So there's some ladies that actually say, I have all this money, I've been saving it, I don't know what to do with it. They just want to invest it. And some are very happy in their like multiple 6-figure a year jobs. They don't want to quit, they don't want to start a business, they just want to learn how to invest that. And then of course there's a solution for that, but some people do need to work up to it, right? Like if they have a paycheck, let's say it's $3,000 a month, I do still encourage them, like, don't wait till it's $15,000 a month. Begin to invest a part of that $3,000. And that's how you get into that mentality. So I think anybody should be investing. It's not as hard as it is, no matter what income they're making. And of course, simultaneously build up their other streams of income so they can invest even more from those sources.
Mm, that's beautiful. Yeah, I remember first time I invested, I had sold one of my cars. I actually moved to Africa and I had this car. I'm like, I don't need to use it anymore. So I decided to sell it, and I was able to sell it for exactly the same amount. I think it was like 20,000. It wasn't that much, but it wasn't like, little. And I put it all on Apple, and that went on to, I think, gosh, I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time, but it probably made me at least 100,000 that I know.
Amazing.
I mean, I would have to track it, but just
Right.
to show you, like that was like my first time trying. And I'm the type of person that I usually just kind of go in all the way. And like my risk tolerance is extremely high. It's not something I would recommend right now. Yeah, take 20,000 and put it on one thing and one thing only. But the way I saw it, I was like, I don't really need this money right now. It can stay into something. If I put it in the bank, it's not really going to make me any money, like at all. And let me just try. And I planted into my head. I said, this is play money, even though it's real money, but I made it so I'm not stressed out by that decision every single day. And of course, once, I invested that money, my next investments weren't as large, but slowly, just by kind of just following the trends. And I can't say I'm like an investment expert. And this is one thing that I noticed, you don't have to be. And some of the things that I invested are like the blue chip that, most people know. Like I have stock in Tesla, Microsoft, and some of the bigger ones. it didn't require me to do too much research on it, because it's just like, for Tesla, like Elon Musk is like a genius. Like if he goes down, then I deserve to lose all of it. I don't know. So it's, you don't
Yeah.
always have to, because I feel like a lot of women, and probably men too, we take too much time to decide what we're going to do next. So like in the case of this money, I could have just not do anything with them for years, thinking I'm gonna need them back to buy another car or whatever the case may be. But once I started investing, I'm like, oh my God, my money can make me money. It was such a liberating feeling, especially, and I don't know if you concur with this, but being born in Romania, we didn't have these kind of opportunities where you just take your money and you put it into a place that will make you more money.
Yes, I definitely agree with the whole opportunity situation. It really is amazing. And actually, you don't even have to be in America to invest into the American stock market, which I think is so cool too. And yeah, there goes the whole conversation. We can talk about lost opportunity costs, right? You don't want money just sitting there in a bank, because inflation is slowly eating away at it. So it's worth less every single year. And if you don't need it, it's better to put it into something that's statistically, like the stock market, especially those types of stocks, or something like SPY or Triple Q, which is like a fund of other stocks. They're statistically going to go up. So instead of having your money deflate 2% each year, it could go up 8 to 10% every single year. And if you're in it like an investor, long term, it's going to make you more money. Even if the stock market, like right now, plummets completely, it's going to go back up eventually, right? It's just statistically proven to do so, and the trends are there. So definitely agree with you. If you have the money, put it in, hold it, don't sell it, and just sit on it.
And we should look at it from another way too, is even, it's easy to put in money when you don't really need it, but I think it's very important to mention that you should also consider taking a portion of the money that you do need, and maybe try to get by with the other portion of it and start investing it. That's a little harder to do, because you're thinking, oh my God, I could really use this money for this and this and this, and having that power to say, you know what, I'm going to put this away because it is for my future. And I guess just growing up in Romania and having this feeling of like, oh my God, I need to make it, I need to like not be broke ever again. That feeling, I think it's pushing me to think more about retirement than most people. But it's interesting, because even talking to my siblings, my brother, my sister, I told them for many years to like put some money into like your Roth or something. And they're like, wait, why do I need that? That's like 40, 50 years away from now, where I can, take the money out or whatever. And that's harder to do. That's so much harder to do, putting your money into something knowing that you won't see them, because you're thinking, most people are like, but I need it right now. I could use it right now. And having that power to take some of the money and put it into your retirement, I think it's a great power to have, really.
Yeah, I mean, we always need more money, we always want more money, but there comes a question of, do I want to keep this lifestyle, or do I have to think a little bit more long term, and what changes do I need to make now in order to make sure that I have a secure future? And it doesn't necessarily mean even becoming like a multi-millionaire. It's just being comfortable when you're older too. Like most people are not, right? They're still in debt, and um, yeah, the pension is just terrible. So you don't want to be living off your pension when it's minuscule when in your 60s.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they're probably still having those thoughts like, oh, the country will take care of me, the country will take care of me. And I guess, and again, that's maybe another benefit of having come from a country that's, like you're not
Not
really
taking care
sure
of you.
what's going to happen, so you'll kind of have to take care of yourself. And I started helping my parents going through that same process, like, you need to put some money away for your future, because you don't always want to work. And there will be a time where you just want to like relax and enjoy the remaining of your life. And if you're stressed out and you don't have enough money to sustain you, that puts financial stress not only on you but on your kids as well as they get older. Parents are supposed to be there for their kids, and when you get older, if the kids have to take care of you. And this is something in Romania that's very popular. I don't know what it's like for you, whereas like the kids have to take care of the parents. And luckily I have that, but in this country it's such a stress to be able to take care of your own family, like your own kids, but also your parents and of yourself. It's like too many people are taking on this burden, and being able to start saving for yourself, I think it's great at any point. Even right now, if you're listening this and you have $50 extra, you want to make sure that you invest.
Every month, for sure. Yeah, I mean, a lot to comment on that. About like my mentality is like, as an immigrant too, going back to that and seeing how much my family has done for me, I want to make sure that they're financially stable, and I've kind of taken on the responsibility that I will make that happen. So that's just my goal, is to, I'm taking those steps, and it feels amazing to be able to finally do that. But like, one of my goals is to just like be able to buy my mom a full closet worth of designer items and just have her be basically living her best life. I think that would be really fun.
Well, I'm sure you're going to make that, and that's so beautiful to say, because that goes beyond just like your living means. That's like a whole nother step to that want and desire to be able to not only like provide for your parents, but actually take it a step further and be like, I just want my mom to have all the nice designer stuff. Like, I think that's so
Yeah, why
beautiful.
not, right? Let's not limit ourselves.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point, because we do limit ourselves. And some of the conversations that I have, even with my friends, we do limit ourselves a lot. And even me, I think mindset, it's such an important part of my life, and it's something that I practice every single day. And yet I catch myself limiting myself in some of the things I say, and I'm like, holy cow, like I catch myself and I'm like, who is this? Why do you keep coming back? And it's not something you can bury. You cannot bury your personality and the values that you grew up with. Is just course correct every single day, course correct, because those limiting beliefs do come back all the time. And it's not a matter of getting angry and saying, why am I like this? But recognizing it when it happens and then making the changes, because that's what really strengthen your muscle, your limiting belief muscle, right?
So at least it's important. Everyone's going to have that. You just have to be aware of it. It's worse when you're not aware of it, and it is how it is. Oh, people are responsible for my happiness. There's not enough for me. This is bad. Life is happening. It's always not in my favor. Those are very bad ways of thinking. And I think we need to take responsibility for our life fully and take that power back. And if those thoughts come around, as they do, of course, just find like mechanisms to deter them. Listening to something positive, writing down your goals, looking at the goals you wrote down in the past, reflecting on your success and being like, this is not where I started, but look how far I've came. There's so much more for me out there, right? There's just little control mechanisms we have to do. But like you said, we're always improving. So
Do you think people are just sometimes too hard on themselves as well?
yeah, I mean, I'm hard on myself as well, which is, I think it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's nice because it pushes you to do more, but then you also have to be gentle and loving with yourself, where being like not angry at yourself, but just not gentle can set you back as well. So you need rest days. Um, yeah, I'm the one to, not really a good one to talk about this, because I don't take many rest days. Even when I dance, I'm like, I'm gonna do it 3 hours a day every single day until I feel like I cannot do it anymore. And then usually it's like my body is just super achy, and I'm like, okay, now I physically can't do it, so this is the end, But I think people should probably stop themselves before getting to that point, even in like business and working, because you do get drained. So you need to be a little bit more gentle on yourself.
Because you don't want to get to a point where you're confusing that tiredness with your falling out of love for the things you do, because that's not what
Mhm.
it is. Sometimes you just need to reset. And
That's true.
Karina's talking about dancing, and actually, and I think I told you this before, like you inspire me to actually take a class of dancing. So for those that want to see Karina dance, go check out her Instagram, Into a Millie, which I think is such a brilliant name to have. And you really inspire me. I mean, I remember like seeing, I know you have some videos like kind of like when you started, because I was like, this girl is just natural. I do not believe that she's not this perfect from day one. And
No,
I
I'm
went
not.
back to I went back to some of your videos. I mean, you were good. Listen, you didn't really start
No,
from
no, no. You are just being nice. I look back at the videos and I look like, that bug, the stick bug that is in the sand in the forest. That is what I look like, okay, in the beginning. And I could not believe it's all dedication. That is why, like, I love posting the before and after of things I do, because it's crazy. Like, you can literally do anything you set your mind to. Like, you go from a dancing like stick insect to being able to look like decently good, and it's just, and like enjoying it. It's truly amazing.
Oh, that you look so amazing doing it. Like, really, you inspire me. I mean, one of the intentions, I didn't really set like a list of goals necessarily, as most people do for New Year's, but I did set intentions of what I want to feel and uh, what do I want to experience this year. And one of the things that I said is I want to incorporate more fun into my life. I mean, I have a lot of fun when I go to events and Amazon conferences and my masterminds. They really are filling to me because I love people and just being around people gives me that energy. But I started questioning myself because people are like, "Oh, what are your hobbies?" And I'm like, "Work." They're like, "No, but like your hobbies." I'm like, "More work." And it kind of I started thinking to myself like, "What happened? Where did I lose myself?" And not again. Love so much what I do that I completely forgot what am I doing this for? So I wanted to incorporate more fun, and I love dancing. I think it's such a beautiful form of like expressing yourself, and it's an art. And then I see you dance, and I'm like, oh my god, like I want to get that good one day. So how long did it take you to go from like a stick insect to like being like a pro right now? I mean, I don't know if you consider yourself a pro, but to me, you're like, holy cow, like she's a pro.
Honestly, I just have so much passion for it. So basically, I started at the end of June of last year, like, and then June 20th, I think. And then I took 2 weeks of lessons, and then I disappeared for a month to back to USA because I started it in Europe, which I should not have taken that month off, but I was just so new to the scene. It was Latin dancing, by the way, for everyone. So bachata, salsa, kizomba, also all of those fun things. But I would say in short term, 6 months with a 2 month gap in between. So pretty much since end of June until now. But I mean, I'm just obsessive. I do it every single day for 3 hours. I have it today in the evening time too. So, and also commenting back on your statement of work and hobbies, I do relate to you a lot because basically my entire life when I was doing school and I took AP, IB, honors, like all that jazz in university. And that was my hobby. But when you work this hard, you don't have room for hobbies. It's either you choose a career path where you're absolutely like aiming for success and that's your obsession, or you incorporate fun into your life. And I think sometimes we have to make those sacrifices. And I think they really pay off. Like they really paid off for you, where now you have freedom. You can go take dance. You can do this really cool podcast and just enjoy your life. And same for me, there's 0% chance I would have been able to do dance. And if I did, I wouldn't have been as passionate about it because I would have been limited not only in the finances, right? Because they're private lessons. You like, it's not that it's completely free, not even close, right? So you have to find a way to fund it and you need the time to do it. So if I'm in school or working on my business and I don't have a strong income, how am I supposed to go full in and passionate about it, right? But now it's like there's a dancing festival in Moscow or Dubai, somewhere I can just go and not worried about, being financially limited. And now I'm at a point where now I can pursue all the hobbies I want, but I had a fun time building up my financial situation or building up my resilience or crying at night or being sleep deprived. Like we can leave that in the past, but now we're older, wiser, more free in our hearts, and we can do whatever we want. I think that's actually even more fun. And I will say it's really cool to start something later, a hobby or an interest and passion, as opposed to doing it your whole life and saying, I'm a pro because I've been doing it for 10 years, not saying I'm a pro. I'm just generalizing, right? It's more so I'm better at it because I committed to it, which means that if you commit, you can also be amazing at not just this particular thing, but anything else in your life, which I think is more powerful than something that is tested for decades.
Oh, this is so beautiful, Karina. I'm so thankful that you came and shared this with us because I think it's so important for people to realize that, we do have to follow our passions and you don't know what they are. And this is sometimes the hard part because, like, for me, I'm like, I just really love working. Like, it's very hard for me to pull myself out of it. And, I have passed that moment where I'm like, okay, I can do this financially. And yet, I never started doing anything more fun. I just did more of that thing. I just did more of the work. And you get so good at something that you start confusing it with a hobby and a passion, and we forget to live. And we need, like, when is it a good time to, and I don't know if you can answer this, like when it happened to you, but when do you say, okay, now I have enough that I can still have hobbies and I can still do work? Because I feel like a lot of people are stuck into that mentality. This is not enough, yet I cannot take a break to enjoy something that I might be even loving in the future.
I think no matter what financial situation, like right now is the time. And I'm going to use myself as an example because like I was not financially like, I don't know what the right term is, but when I was in school, right? I had basically a single mother, immigrants, like I wasn't out there pursuing everything that I wanted, buying all the things I wanted, traveling. But I just had like I knew I wanted success and I knew I wanted fun. So it's all about those intentions. And I'm like, I'm still like, okay, people have different versions of fun. You love your work, so why stop it? If you enjoy it, like other people are telling you it's not a hobby, but why are they don't know how you feel in the moment. You love it, so you're doing it. When I started Amazon, I loved sitting at Starbucks for 6 hours doing product research. My friends would be at bars or clubs or having dinner at fancy restaurants, spending their money. But I'm like, that doesn't sound fun to me right now. I don't want to go drink right now. I want to build a business. That's fun for me. I see the future, right? But it's different for every person. Like when I was also doing my Amazon business and in university, I was also signed to a modeling agency in Los Angeles. Now, this wasn't something that was expensive for me. This is something I used as a supplemental income, but that was my fun. It's like, go do a cool photo shoot, have someone do your makeup. Like I was fortunate enough to like give myself that opportunity because it's something I pursued that didn't cost me money, right? It's like I built up my portfolio. I went to agencies. I got that opportunity because I took action on it. So I think no matter what it is, like finances shouldn't govern the amount of fun you have in life. You can still do things on top of like work. But if you do enjoy work and you like your heart and passion is in it, I think that's a hobby. I don't think like I'm never going to stop working. I don't want to retire. There's always new adventures. And yeah, it's Friday night or Saturday night and I'm on my computer, but who is telling me that's not fun? Like the cool things I can do with that income, it's undescribable.
Yeah. And you can go out on a Monday night compared to a Friday
Exactly.
night or Saturday if you want to.
Recharges. Nights and days, especially being on this time zone, nothing makes sense anymore. It's like all a big time blur.
So you are back in Europe right now.
Yeah.
Do you know when you'll come back, or it's just
No, not
unknown?
really. There's no reason. Honestly, I'm telling you, from here, a flight to Rome is like 50 euros. Egypt is 40 minutes away, no, like an hour and 5 minutes away. I never comprehended the fact that Europe is so close before until I lived. I mean, it's from the USA, it's far, but it's so cool to be able to just go on 3 hours and you're in Italy. I mean, I haven't went anywhere for the last few months, but because I've been working, but in the plans, it's definitely in the plans. And I love America. USA is amazing, amazing opportunities, super cool, especially the big cities, New York, LA, Miami. I know it's just so much passion in those cities, but I am really enjoying being in a different environment and actually like living in the culture.
Absolutely love that. And it's amazing that you're able to do that. And I don't know, you don't have kids, right?
Not yet.
Yeah. So I think, taking this time to really enjoy living wherever you want. I think that is beautiful. And I understand. I mean, when you said I love America, I feel that in my heart because I don't know your story that well, like going back to, how you came here and all that. But for me, it was one of my biggest dreams to come to this country. And being a citizen now and having the opportunity to not only live here but go everywhere, I think that freedom part of it is just the most beautiful thing. And I live vicariously through you. I love your trips. I love your dance lessons, and I love how motivational you are and how much you're helping everyone. And I think I have to say that to you. Like, you are doing an amazing job with everything that you do. And not only that, but what you do for people, I think it's incredible, because you could do this behind closed doors and, stack your money and not worry about anybody else. But I love the fact that you are taking everything that you have learned in experience throughout your life, and now you're giving somebody else a chance. And I think that is the most beautiful part about yourself.
Thank you, Izabela. That's very sweet.
I mean, and also you're gorgeous and you can dance and blah 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 and all these other things.
I can't wait to see your dancing videos. You have to send them to me. I'm so excited for you.
Okay, so just a quick note, guys, for those who don't know what bachata is, for me, it was like Latin dance. They all look the same. They all sounded the same. And then, I see Karina dance and I'm like, it's like the most sensual dance I have ever seen. And then I started looking on YouTube. And I'm like, oh my God, this is different than all the other dances. So I'll just give you guys my story about my first time taking bachata lessons. And it was last Tuesday, and it was amazing. But the way it's set up here, it's not private because I wanted to give it a try. So it's at a pretty famous restaurant, and I don't know if you know it. It's called Cafe Sevilla here in San Diego. I think it may be a maybe. But anyway, so it's Tuesday. I go there, and there's maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 people, and they're all lined up and they're doing like the basic steps. But then what happens is that you start dancing what like every person there almost. So it's like you do a dance, and I don't know if you've ever experienced that. You do a dance or two with this person, and then you rotate, and it's like all these strangers you're dancing with. And when the class is over, which is like like 2 hours or so with breaks, then people start inviting you to dance, like some of the people that you dance with. And this gentleman comes to me and he's like, do you want to dance? I'm like, of course, I want to practice. And literally 10 seconds in, he's like, okay, thank you.
That's mean.
It was so funny to me because I'm like, oh my God, I am so terrible that this guy couldn't even dance more than 10 seconds. But it's like you have and I learned something new about myself that day. It's like, you can have your own style of dance and the other person has their own style, and you don't always match like the energy and the vibration with that person. And it was so interesting to see how with some people your dancing energy matches. Is that weird? Like, tell me more.
That's really cool. I mean, that's the fun thing about social dancing too, is people have different styles and you kind of merge to their styles. And sometimes the dance just turns out so well because not only of the technique, but because of the connection and just the passion that's in it. And that's social dancing. I definitely recommend you take a few privates too, because then you'll know some of the moves. But I just took, for the longest time, I just took privates. And then I flew to New York, and it was the first time ever I went social dancing alone, by the way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so nervous. And this older gentleman asked me to dance salsa. And like, it's different with every single person. So especially if you're new, and I was relatively new too, you just feel so weird in the beginning, but then you get used to it. And it's a lot of fun. Now you will become obsessed. Warning.
Oh, I can see how that would happen because, like every twist and turn, I'm like, oh my God, like that was really good. And what I noticed about myself, and maybe because I'm just so new, like I'm very slow on the turns, so by then it's like, but again, it was my first class. I think I did pretty well considering I've never taken a bachata class before, but it's probably because in Romania we have, not similar dances, but kind of like, Arabic style a little bit. So I think that helped, the fact that, I was able to catch on some of these moves pretty quickly. But I'm telling you, it was such a fun night, and it didn't matter like how much I sucked, and I didn't care. Like even that fact with that guy, I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. But he's probably practicing himself, and he had to dance with somebody that's better. But yeah, it's cool. I didn't even know it's called a social dance. That's pretty cool. I'm just saying, like, go out there and really try something new, because one, you're going to learn a lot. Two, you're going to just laugh and be able to make fun of yourself. but I
You
want to.
got it. You have to do it. Honestly, the best times I've had too. It's like taking those scary, like they seem scary, but they're not. And I know some girls that are scared to go, but I'm like, I will go alone. Like I was in New York at literally like a charity poker event, and I had all these chips. I was doing well, and this guy comes in. He's acting like the big boss, you know. And then I'm like, you're bluffing me, so I go all in. And at that point, I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, it's 11:15. There's social dancing until 2. I'm just gonna, I don't care if I go all in. I want to lose so I can go dancing, you know? So I'm like all in on this guy. Turns out he wasn't bluffing. He had pocket aces. And I lost, but at least I got 3 hours of amazing dance in. And it was one of the like best nights, you know?
Oh, that is so good. And this is so important, like being able to take time to do things that you enjoy, and really you might not know what that is. And my advice for those who are listening and are thinking of starting something new this year, think of that instead of saying, oh, I want to be in the gym 5 days a week, or oh, we put on us so much pressure on achieving some of these goals. But I think it's even more important to set an intention, like what do I want to feel like this year, instead of just doing that mechanical way, like, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to do this. And people do it every year. And I stopped doing this a few years ago. And it's like, what do I want to feel? I want to feel more joy in my life. I want to have more fun. Because when you put it this way, you're going to attract stuff in your life that are not necessarily what you thought. Like, being in the gym 5 days a week, it's no fun for me anymore. Like it used to be. But
Same.
it's like, how can I move my body in such a way that I can get some physical exercise, but at the same time really enjoy it? And dancing is one of them. And for somebody listening, maybe it's golf, maybe it's like trying basketball for the first time ever,
Mhm.
or I don't know. There's just so many things you can do right now to make your body feel great, but also your mind, I think.
And I think also it's like you're so right. And setting that intention, how well it works, because there's times where literally just said the easiest one is I want to have more laughter like tomorrow or today. Like every day is filled with laughter. I think laughter is just one of the best emotions that brings the most joy. And if you notice, like pay attention, how often do you laugh in a day, right? Maybe not as much, but set that intention and you will notice that funny stuff starts to happen. No matter where you go, maybe you see a funny clip and laughing to me is one of the best joys, I think. So setting that intention and yeah, like feeling your body, feeling your mind, and doing things that are actually enjoyable.
Yeah. And it's where you drive your attention to, this is what are you going to bring more into your life. So I think it's such a valid point where you just said, and I just want to repeat it because it's so important. It's like, if you decide to bring more laughter into your life, then you will start noticing things that maybe you wouldn't notice before. Just like when you buy a new car, right? You buy a red car, and then all of a sudden you start seeing all the cars on the road. It has a name. It's very long, and I forgot exactly the term. But it's like you start noticing these things into your life. So if you're asking for more laughter into your life, you will be presented with more opportunities to laugh. And you will notice that, which is going to cause even more laughter into your life. And same thing with it goes with financial success and with money and work. It's like once you start moving, then everything else is moving for you. If you're in a stagnant place, it's very hard for things to come into your life and onto your way, because you're not in motion if you're stagnant. And it goes for everything.
Yep. They
Okay.
say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if you're passive, if you're not really doing anything, that's when negativity comes in. That's when you become lethargic. But if you're always thinking on the go, doing stuff, more ideas start to come in, more opportunities.
Yeah, and for me, I have a almost 6-year-old. He's going to turn 6. So I have him. I want to give him the best life he's ever had, that I didn't have. I want financial success. I want this. And when Tuesday rolled around and it was like 6 p.m., I was like, oh my god, I'm so tired. I hope my friend cancels. I hope my friend cancels. Because you start thinking that, like, I don't want to go anywhere, because you're just so exhausted from life. At that point. And I was like, I'm just gonna go. And I was so happy I did. And even though, it got to be late and I woke up and worked the next morning, even though I was physically tired a little bit, but my mind was so fresh and so happy and so relaxed that literally like deleted the fact that I was tired. And it's so important to, make a plan and stick to it, even if you don't feel like it, because so many beautiful things are going to come out of that decision.
What shoes did you wear?
So that was an issue.
Okay, maybe that's why you're tired.
Because I have like my fancy shoes, and then I have gym shoes. So it was a very interesting decision. But I had these like almost like little boots, but I knew they were going to be very comfortable because I wore them before, and they were still pleasantly looking. But I will take suggestions because
Okay.
I'm going tomorrow again, and I'm gonna go couple Tuesdays, and then I was looking, I was like, who can be my instructor from here? And I saw there were two couples who were just amazing. And I don't even know if they offer private lessons. Maybe they're just like dancers, just somebody like me and you in the audience. But I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna ask people.
Good. You should get like professional dancing shoes for sure. And there's dancing sneakers. I have those for when my feet are destroyed. And you'll get less tired, I think. Because the normal heels and even booties, they are still not the best. I do recommend like the weight and the comfort is completely different story. You can wear those.
I'm getting serious. Listen, I'm getting my gloving box and all of this. I'm doing it. And I did a vision board party the other day, and I found this gorgeous picture of this lady, and she's kind of sitting like this and with her feet on. I'm like, oh, that's me. I want to be the best dancer ever this year. Like that was like the first thing that I see on my vision board. It's just something fun. Like we have to live life now.
When I'm in California, we're going to go dancing together. I know all the good spots for social dancing in in Los Angeles and Orange County. They're really good. OC and LA. So.
Oh my God! Well, I cannot wait. And when will that happen?
Trained up, and then we're gonna go together because I always go alone.
Well, I would love to join you. I just want you to come back to US. And do you know when that will be this year? Oh, you don't know yet.
I will let you know. Because when I'm there, I go dancing all the time. So I will send you a message and say, Tuesday night, get your shoes on. We're going to be there till 1:30. So.
Well, thank you for that. Really, you put them onto this, and just seeing you just do so much, and your Amazon business, and then your coaching business, and you still have time to take care of your body and your mind, and the books that you read, and just everything about you just like motivates even people like myself that we motivate ourselves, but we also want to be motivated by others. So it's just so beautiful to see. Again, for everyone listening, please go to Into a Millie on Instagram. Are there other places that people can find you? Your new program, for example, and anything else that you are offering?
Well, my Instagram is Into a Millie. I have a YouTube channel, Into a Millie Lady. So that's for the ladies, and it's mindset and business too. I have an Amazon channel too with a lot of videos, but that's off topic for this. And also my program is milliondollarlady.com. Those are the most important links, but the best way to reach me is probably Instagram. It's my favorite social media platform. There's more. I feel like you can communicate with people more on there.
Have you utilized TikTok at all, or
yes,
no?
I forgot about TikTok. I have like 337K on TikTok. It's really fun and educational, the way I like to put it out there. But you can't really talk to people as much on there because you can only message your friends. Mm-hmm. So it's just more to put videos out. But Instagram is you can answer messages and all that fun stuff and stories.
Are you able to like repurpose some of the content that you do like on Instagram onto TikTok, or it's a completely separate beast? I mean, I haven't really utilized TikTok.
It depends what it is. So like I've noticed Instagram likes more aesthetic vibes, like outfits, nice places, kind of like mini stories, right? In a very like high performance, high editing type of way, almost like mini movies. But TikTok is more casual, so they also like daily vlogs, really short ones, snippets. It's very trend focused, very sound focused. So you got to be like looking for the new trends and following them and applying them to your niche. I mean, it works really well as a growth tool, but I'd say it probably is easier to grow on TikTok easier than Instagram, just because there's more opportunity for creation within your niche, while as Instagram is very like aesthetic focused. So it's harder to get your message out in the way that would impact your audience. That's my opinion, but it's also more effort on Instagram in terms of like the content. But in terms of like communication, yeah, I think Instagram definitely. Some, like I said, some you can repurpose. Like if it's really short and trendy, you can put it on Instagram. But if it's a long form video, like a minute, no one's gonna watch that on Instagram.
Wow. So it's double the work.
Pretty much, I would say, yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, okay, last question. As
Yeah.
we're going on an hour, I could ask you a million more questions into a milli, but how do you organize your days? Because you just do so much. Like, do you have a certain way that you found that works for you, that you're able to do all of these?
I'm so unorganized. I'm an unorganized person by nature. I'm a complete unplanner and last minute person by nature. Like if I have a flight the next day, I will pack in the middle of the night or the next morning, and I will get to the flight 1 minute before the gate closes. So in terms of planning, and then I will try to convince the person at the front to let me in one way, shape, or form, because I'm like, I know it's my fault. Let me on the plane. It works, by the way, usually. But I'm not much of a planner. I just kind of go with the flow. Like I have a goal of things to do, but in terms of like creating content, I guess I'm really good at that. I can sit down and film for a very long time, and I can sit down on my computer and type for a very long time. But it for me, I prefer to ideally wake up and have the morning to myself. So to do the mindset work, like, to just relax, wake up, read, meditate. I love meditating. Journal / write down your goals. And I actually I hate cooking, but I like cooking breakfast. I feel like that's the only meal I actually enjoy to cook. So as I'm cooking, I would listen to maybe like a rampage of positivity, or a audiobook, or like a lecture, right? So I'm building myself up to have a good mentality through the rest of the day. And I don't like being interrupted. Like I have to rush somewhere for an appointment, or even dance. I used to have in the morning, and I realized how like inefficient that made my whole day, because I was physically tired and then I had to work. So I switched that around to later now. So I would prefer that slow, uninterrupted morning for me, doing all the beauty regimens, maybe like a little face massage, or, just relaxing. And then I like to just spend as much time during the day working, just anything I need to get done. Either I'm at the office or even just at home, doing whatever, and being really productive, and knowing that this is my time, again, uninterrupted. Like I really hate errands or I don't like going out or doing things, to be honest. Like if you have to, even like getting my nails done or getting a facial, I have to like psych myself up for it, because it's like, what day am I going to ruin by going and driving to this place? And, it's like a chore, right? So I like to leave.
I understand you 100%. And I never heard anybody say that, because most people are like, oh, but you're going to go get your nails done for an hour. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I could be doing so much. And like, is there any other way that I could like make this somehow like optimize me getting my nails done? Like, can she come to my house? And they don't do that here.
There's a nail salon literally 30-second walking distance from where I live, and she's the best lady in the city to do. And I'm like, I'm so happy I found you, because so easy. I walk down, I schedule an appointment, she does it fast and pro work. So, I mean, really optimizing for those things too. Like, I feel like finding your service providers that help you out help so much. Actually, another key point to talk about, the value of your time and energy, right? It's like, it's not just your time, but it's also your energy that you spend like washing dishes or doing laundry. Like sometimes you got to do it, but like even hiring a housekeeper to come help saves so much, not just time. Like time is one thing, like you can scroll on your phone for an hour, but it's like the mental and physical energy of that, right? It's like the one thing you don't have to worry about. Or even having the same nail lady or the same facial lady that it's like, or you already know where you're going when, so you don't have to think about that. Just saving those little things. Even getting like groceries delivered, or having your favorite things on Uber Eats for when you don't want to, like, I prefer to eat at home because it's healthier, but actually in Europe, food is way more healthier than the USA, by the way. So it's really, even takeout is really healthy. So that saves a lot. And then in the evenings is when I like to do family time and dance. So it's awesome. And my dancing coach is amazing. He's super flexible. So if I tell him like, can we do a dance lesson at like midnight, he will do it. I don't do it that late, but like I'm like, hey, I have a plane at 9 a.m. Can we do a 6 a.m. dance lesson? He would probably agree to it, you know? So yeah, and just leaving those late evenings for like family time, I think really makes me feel peaceful and more balanced. And then including that hobby of dance. Sometimes it is midday though, right? But again, I know I am anticipating for that to come. It's just I prefer to do the bulk of my work when I have the most energy. I think that's really helpful.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, one thing that you mentioned is like knowing, optimizing even for your service providers and what are you going to do. And, people take it further with like knowing what they're going to wear every day. I mean, I think it's a little harder for us women, but like for me, one thing that I always do is like I always get my nails red. Like they're always red because I don't have to think about it. I know they're pretty. I know I like them. And then before I used to go in and be like, oh my God, like look at the nail pellet, and it would take me minutes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. And it's like, you don't realize how all these like mind decisions really take out a lot of you. It's like decisions that I rather use in business or something. So even, and and the nail lady is always like, you're doing red again. I'm like, yep, I'll tell you if I ever change it. And there's one thing I don't need to think about.
That's I love how first world of a problem that is and how much I relate to this because I am also so indecisive. Like I'm sitting there at the nail salon and I'm like, it's Christmas. Should I get a little Christmas hat like design or should I just do a little gold shimmer for New Year's? And then I start going on this stupid tangent of wait, but then I have to have this Christmas hat on past Christmas and then it's New Year's and it doesn't make sense to have a Christmas hat on New Year's. And it's such a waste of energy, as simple and as silly and as first world as that may seem. I think eliminating those decisions where they don't need to be made is also helps not drain your mentality.
It took me a long time to get there. So, we all learned. We all learned. Karina, what a pleasure to have you on. And I am so glad you said yes. We have so much in common. And as I said, I respect you so much for your work and you're so beautiful beyond just physical, but just everything about you, your energy. And again, the fact that you just want to help people. I resonate in that a lot. And thank you for, noticing that in me because I notice it in you. And we'll have many more amazing conversations. Thank you for giving us your time, which is the most important asset we have.
Thank you, Izabela. You're so sweet and very inspirational. And it's my pleasure that you reached out to have me on here. I think this hour flew by, honestly. I could talk to you for forever, I feel like.
I think so. But, all amazing things have to come to an end for now.
Yes.
That they can continue. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for all the listeners. This was Seller Sessions. Izabela Hamilton, your host. Always a pleasure being here with amazing guests. Sending all my love to you, Karina.
You
Bye-bye.
too.